Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashmiel Shai Bashem Rakag Radash, and double honors to the elder apostles of the great No Stone that have taught me this truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmiel Shai, and to include the elder bishops as well. And what I want to do is I want to give my take on Judge Joe Brown's view on the black Hebrew Israelites, which we're not black, we're just the Hebrew Israelites. We don't coin ourselves black Hebrew Israelites. All right. So without further ado, I want to play this video and we're going to get into it.
Right. Could you delve deeper into that, please? Look, one of the primary staples of propaganda is to get people to misidentify and identify with mythological entities. And I have nothing against Jews. Hell, one of my agents was a Jew. He was an interesting guy. He was part Puerto Rican and part Chinese and got adopted by a Jewish family. All right. He called himself a mutt. But black folk running around trying to claim they're the original Jews, it's like, why are you doing that?
And I'll answer that question. This is 2 Ezra 6 and verse 28. As for faith, verse 27, for evil shall be put out. This is the reason why. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome. And the truth which have been so long without fruit shall be declared. So what's being declared on the face of the earth is the fact that we are the Israelites. We're no longer black people. We're no longer African Americans. We're no longer all of these lies that was told that we were. These false names that was given from our enemy. We're not going by this anymore. All right. So that's why this is all coming out. The truth is flourishing now. All right. Through our faith and believing of it.
Is your purpose? And my analysis is they want something to identify with. You remember some years ago when everybody had to have one of these Oakland Raiders starter jackets? I had a guy in my courtroom who had been stealing Oakland Raiders starter jackets. So I'm talking to him. He's trying to get probation. I said, well, who are the Raiders? I don't know. I said, well, what is that with the eye patch and the bones? Doesn't it have a football helmet on it? Yeah, is that what that is? Yeah, that's a football helmet. He didn't even know it was a football team. Where's Oakland? He didn't know where Oakland was. But he's identifying with that because he wants to belong.
Okay, so there you go. So let's get into that as well. So he's saying that we're identifying as Israelites because we are trying to find something to identify with. Well, again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this over here. And he's right. He's absolutely correct. Because being a so-called African American isn't enough. Being called black isn't enough. Being whatever these names that we were titled isn't enough because there's no truth. There's no substance of truth to these titles. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to read Jeremiah 17 and verse 4. And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. Now, when you look up this word forever, in the right context, the word would be, in the Hebrew word, of course, would be ayalama. Ayalam. Right? Let's look up that word real quick so we can better get into this. Forever, right? Ilam, which means a long duration, antiquity, futurity, forever, everlasting, evermore, perpetual, old, ancient world. Let's look at the Strong's definition here. Right. So for a long duration of time, we would have had lost our heritage. Okay, we would have had lost our heritage for a long time. So it doesn't necessarily mean forever, because if this is the case, we wouldn't be teaching who we are. So evidently, we've returned back to who we were. Now let's even read 2 Peter's 3 and verse 1. This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds by a way of remembrance, that you may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets, and the commandments of us, the apostles of the Lord and Savior. So this cuts what he just said, because what he just said in a nutshell, by giving that analogy, is the fact that we're identifying of something that he said that we don't know. But how can he make such a statement when he hasn't even actually did the research? Because if you find out just by watching Great No Stone and IGBK and the Boys in Purple, what you'll find out is that we do know what we're talking about. Now, those two camps, they go off on certain things, but a lot of what they do speak on is the truth. And we speak the 100% truth. And when you listen to us again, you're going to know that we know what we're talking about. All right. So this is a man that's leaning onto his own understanding, because he's a credited man. You know, he has a bachelor in arts. Also as well, he's a Juris Doctor. So he's credited as that. And he had his own show throughout the years. And he's an older guy, and he's accomplished quite a bit in his life. So now he figures, well, what he has to say is going to have some kind of an effect, a greater effect to young people. But you see, here's the kicker. We know that Judge Joe Brown is nothing more than those that were chosen to be in tandem with Esau. All right. The reason why we know Judge Joe Brown, because Esau propped him up. So now he has to do these Amalekites bidding to reinforce this lie that they're the people and we can't be the people. That's what this is all about. Because you can't have two groups of people saying that they're the people, because then people are going to begin to question in the middle, okay, who's who? They're saying that they're the people, and over here we're saying we're the people. And nowadays, most people are leaning towards the truth that they're not the people based on how they're acting. And they're looking at us like, well, these so-called Negroes over here, I might not really 100% agree with this, but I would pretty much more so believe that they're the people instead. Okay. Now, I want to expound more on what he said using the word. This is something that we identify with, right? In my words, I'm going to say, yes, we identify with being a Hebrew Israelite, of course. Because for one, we all went to these churches. Whether we was a Baptist churchgoer, Episcopalian churchgoer, or whether some of us were into Roman Catholics, Roman Catholicism, some of us were into Roman Catholicism, or we were Muslims, right? But let's just look at the Christian church that we all came from. Now, we know that most of the scriptures that were taught to us were not taught in these churches at all. And just to give you, my own experience of learning this truth, what I found out is that I had to be among the people that was written in this book of the chosen, the Israelites. Because what I found out in the book of Deuteronomy 28, a particular verse, which is 68, and other verses that was read to me when I first came in, after hearing them precepts and reading it for myself at the same time, that voice came to my mind, and it basically told me that this is the truth. Okay, a voice came to my head telling me that this is the truth. And ever since that point, I've been following this. Okay, so that's why we identify with being Israelites, because when we were taught this truth, as it is written, let's read the book of Jeremiah 3 and verse 15. And I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. So when we was fed this knowledge and this understanding, it made a lot of sense. Now, I learned from Bakwash first and foremost. I used to watch him quite a bit years ago. And you know, I got bored of him. I got Clyde because he was pretty much on a basic level of understanding, which that's okay because you got to start from somewhere, right? So then I jumped in and watched Apostle Tahar and the end of the world prophets. I think that's what they were called at the time. Okay. And I remember seeing Apostle Tahar in 2007 on World Star Hip Hop. You know, I was still a nigga in the world, really, you know, but I was pleased with what I heard, and then I lost. And then from that time, what we was trying to do is find where those guys were at on the internet, because we wanted to follow these guys. And I say we because a relative of mine was there and there that showed me this stuff, and I was inspired watching what I saw the very first time in 2007. But I didn't wake up in 2007. I wind up revisiting this truth 3 years later. Okay, first watching Bukwash and then being brought to seeing the elders of Great Millstone today. And it all made sense to me that this is where I needed to be. All right, so when them verses came out, it all made sense to me that this has to be the truth, that we got to be the people of the Bible. It ringed true. Okay, so that's why we identify with being Israelites. We didn't just pick this up because, oh, it just feels good. Oh, it just feels like I need something to follow in a sense of belonging, like he's saying. All right, like we don't know what we're talking about. We very well know what we're talking about. Some of us have been in this thing for years. Some 20 years, some 25 years, 35 years, 40 years, some of us 10 years, 15 years. So in those years, we would very well know what we're talking about, where it concerns what it means to be an Israelite. All right. So let me read this again. I will give you pastors according to my own heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. And that we do have by a great deal now. So let me see what else I can read. Yeah, let me read this as well. Isaiah 5 and verse 21. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. And that's this individual over here. He's wise in his own eyes. Because an elder physically in age is saying what he's saying against the Israelites, I should just put the Bible down and put everything that I've learned. Come on, man. It's not that easy. It's not going to be that easy. All right. We've identified who we are. And yes, we was misidentified as a people. And so we found our true identity. All right. And just like I said in this video, and I want to say it again, what's being reinforced here is the fact that, as what it reads in the book of Hosea 1 and 10, verse 9 and verse 10, where it mentions that we would not be considered as the people in the land, but in that same land, it would be considered that we are the people of the sons of God. All right. We are the sons of God, excuse me. In other words, we would be declared as the Israelites. And that's what's ringing truth today. So that's all I have to say with this. I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Rakag With that I'm out. Shalom.